And now, Legal Perspective with Nick Clekis.
Dogs bring immense joy into our lives, but when a playful nip turns serious, you could find yourself in the middle of a legal dog fight. Here to help us put a leash on these unpredictable situations is Nick Clekis, owner of Clekis Law Firm. Nick, great to have you back in the studio with us.
Good to see you again, too.
So, we would like to think that when a dog bites somebody else, the owner wasn't, telling the dog to go bite them. But from a legal perspective, when that happens, is it the owner's responsibility?
Depends, like everything in the law. So if you're in a place that you have the legal right to be, you're not a trespasser, and the dog bites you, then it's strict liability. The owner is responsible.
Okay.
And that's a civil thing. It's not a criminal thing. It's you can sue them for injuries, medicals, or whatever. There is a criminal aspect that is sometimes enforced that they can get fined and jail time if it's egregious and stuff. But if you get bit or your child gets bit and they have scarring or any kind of injury, then it's considered strict liability. They are responsible.
And now with dog bites, does the dog have to bite you for there to be any kind of legal element to this?
No, that's a great question. I mean, the way the statute reads is that the word other attack can be if you're getting chased and you face plant into the concrete or they scratch you in the process or anything. If it has to do with the dog coming after you and you suffer an injury, the statute covers you.
And I assume that most of the victims of dog bites or dog attacks are children. Is there any difference when handling a case that involves a child versus an adult?
Well, like anything else, the law always protects children, and people are held to a higher standard of care. Children are innocent, and even if they are accidentally trespassing, they are probably covered.
I could imagine that as a parent, they might want to fight harder, right, if it's their child versus themselves. And now, another part of the family for pet owners, right, is our dogs are really a part of our family. What happens if a dog bites another dog?
Yeah, so the law does not consider animals the way we do in terms of loving them and pain and suffering and whatnot. They're called chattels under the law, and chattels just means it's like a piece of property, like your lawnmower is a chattel. And so, if your dog gets brutally injured or killed by another dog or even by another person, there's really not a lot of value there in the eyes of the law, which I think should change.
Yeah. With renting, right, renters, that kind of situation, if you are renting a home and your dog bites somebody, right, is there any responsibility put on the landlord? No.
So people ask me that all the time, whether or not the owner of the property is responsible since they own the house and may have homeowners insurance. Well, no. If they don't have care, custody, and control, they don't live there, the tenant's responsible, and you got to hope that they have either some renter's insurance. And even when somebody owns the home, they may have homeowners insurance, but there may be a dog exclusion. If you've got an insurance company that knows you have a vicious dog, they may not cover you, and so it may be a little more difficult to collect on the civil side. You got to make sure that you're covered in case something happens.
We hear people that are like, oh, I had no idea my dog, was vicious or whatever. Is there any kind of, a one-strike rule, right? They get one chance. What does that look like?
Yeah, so the law in South Carolina used to be that you had one free bite. Like, I didn't know my dog was vicious, even though it's a trained German Shepherd, No, the one bite rule has gone away, and it is now just strict liability. If your dog bites somebody where they have the legal right to be and they are injured I said bite. If they are bitten or attacked, again, being, running, scratching, falling, whatever, then it's strict liability.
Yeah. If any of us find ourselves in one of these unfortunate situations, where do we go?
Clekis.com or 843-9-MILLION is really the phone number to call.
843-9-MILLION.
843-970, I think it is.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. And we're excited to have you back next week. We're going to talk about slip and falls.
Yes.
Ooh, we're back in 2 minutes.
This has been Legal Perspective with Nick Clekis.